Wait, what?
Yeah, Sleepy Bear is not a right account. Do we say that to anyone?
Dude, I'm not getting involved. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess it's not our responsibility. I'll just drop a message to Phoenix afterwards, I guess.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to VSGaming Leg1 2019. We are hopping straight into the action with JSG Rebellion versus DDC Divinity. Unfortunately, we don't have a lot of time to do some prep work as we have jumped straight into it, and the action is rolling. A huge anti-nade comes through, getting that Reinhardt really low, and Paleo will go down. And unfortunately, that pretty much looks like it's it for this fight, folks.
It was a quick fight. You can see that the JSG Rebellion is running a GOATS comp. But I feel like they couldn't isolate a target, and that's what made them fail over there.
Yeah, you're not wrong. The problem, however, with the GOAT's composition at the moment, it's a very coordinated composition. If you don't know what you're doing, if you don't know what you're targeting, then it's going to make your life a living hell. And of course, Denshin hit a beautiful anti-nade there onto the entire enemy team, and Paleo just could not stand up to it.
Also, a problem with the GOATS comp is that if you have any range, the GOATS comp will struggle.
Very, very true. And it looks like we've got JSG coming in for their second attack here. Paleo very far forward with his team. Okay, the rest of the team have finally managed to catch up. And Winston goes in for the dive alone. However, that's not what you want to see. But they're not managing to focus him down. He's not really losing any health. He does get nano boosted, and immediately a lot of kills come through. And once again, that's kind of it. Divinity have won this fight.
I feel like the Winston diving in should have been a major blunder for DDC Divinity, but thanks to the, as you said earlier, lack of coordination, they just couldn't get the monkey down in the back line, and that led to the monkey getting nanoed, and as we could see, the fight as it ended.
Yep. Sully dived in there all on his own. He had a Harmony Orb on him, which is quite a lot of healing, but generally speaking, he should have died much faster. I feel like the Primal Rage came in a little bit too early there. Usually you wait until you're very low HP and then you pop the Primal Rage because, of course, you get that full HP. Oh, but a Dragon Blade will come through with a nice bubble. Very well played, managing to get the Zenyatta all the way in the back line. Doesn't look like he's going to get much else value from it, but we have yet another Primal Rage coming through, and Denshin popping off on that Ana, managing to kill things. It's not looking like JSG are going to manage to touch the point this round.
It was a great play there from Loki to target Zenyatta early, getting out those healers first.
I was surprised to see that we didn't see... Oh, but of course Zen doesn't have his ultimate yet because there's been a lot of swap-offs. Graviton Surge will come through and does manage to keep them off the point. That's all they really wanted.
DDC Divinity playing very well, I feel.
Yeah, I feel like JSG, they really struggled with their compositions. They started out with that GOATS, and in this rock, paper, scissors type meta, GOATS should beat dive. But if your dive isn't, or rather if your GOATS isn't coordinated, dive can still mess you up. What I do want to just point out is that Divinity were running a really weird composition with a Winston and a Zarya. That's really not something you see too often. Usually you see Winston with a more dive-centric tank. Zarya is a lot more brawly. So it was weird to see, but they really did manage to make it work.
But an interesting point on that Zarya as well is that Zarya is very good at protecting, isolating targets. So when Winston could dive in, Winston always got that bubble instant.
Well,
so
that is
Winston safe, continuing the dive for a bit longer duration.
And getting a lot of charge for that Zarya. But now we are moving in once again, and JSG running a very strange composition here as well with the Reinhardt and the Roadhog. That's not something you see too often, and of course we're going to see it get quite punished. They're not protecting their backline too well. Their tanks are really going in, and it's not looking like much of a fight.
Interesting combo. Now they switched off GOATS for Ana and the Roadhog, plus with Rich on the Genji.
Yeah, they're not doing anything about that Genji in the backline. They've got nothing to deal with it either. They're getting a Genji of their own. They do have a Lucio now for beat, and hopefully that'll help them out. But once again, Paleo is so far ahead of the rest of his team. It feels like the coordination here is not good, but a nice anti-nade will come in. It doesn't get too much. Nice big Earth Shatter getting... And Sully's just going to charge them all off the map.
I don't know if switching to a Junkrat was the best choice that Lynx could have made. But he is also getting a lot of ulti charge. Like he switched off recently and now he's almost at ulti. So maybe it could pay off when he gets a nice big ult, or not.
Also, both of these teams are running some very strange compositions in my opinion, but now it looks like we're going to see, okay, single tank. So we're running a bit of a 3-2-1 here. Not sure how I feel about that, especially as Paleo has just gotten slept. Nice big anti-nade comes through. Floki absolutely popping off, followed up by a Genji Blade. The Genji Blade is probably a little bit unnecessary, but yep, at this point it's just cleanup.
One problem they're really struggling with is this Mei. She keeps on slowing and walling them, so that the that the DDC Divinian can isolate targets and take them out.
Oh, there's a big grab coming through that gets most of the team. Once again, the team is very split up. They're not grouping up properly, and this is a problem we see in a lot of these teams. But the tire comes through and does manage to get two. This could be exactly the opportunity that they need. Nano Boost comes through onto Palio. He dives straight onto point. A little bit weird because there's nobody there and you have a Nano Boost, but sure, why not? And he's on point and he's swinging away. And Phoenix is managing to stay alive with the support of Ancient, but they will back up now, and it looks like JSG will finally flip the point in their favor.
JSG just here made a big mistake by not taking out Anna. She is on her own. Now that's Anna against Anna.
This is a bit weird, you're not wrong. The Anna v Anna is going down in the bottom, which means two healers are missing out, or two teams are missing out on one of their healers. Now the Moira has joined the Anna v Anna battle. I don't know what JSG are doing here, but it looks like we're going to have Divinity moving on to point. The Earth Shatter comes through and gets absolutely nothing. Beautiful block there. And once again, Palio goes down, and that's kind of it for this composition. Once your Reinhardt goes down, it's a bit of a problem. Now we get the Genji Blade, and once again, probably not necessary, but sure, we'll go with it.
Not a bad retake from DDC Divinian. Just need to clean up now. But the problem is they were engaging with one of the healers, so they were really lacking in sustain.
That's true. Without enough healing, they're going to have a huge problem. And that was exactly the problem that Rebellion had when they had two of their heroes busy fighting the Ancient. It was a bit of an oof. And somehow Anna and Moira die and the wall comes through, which was really helpful. And yeah, Divinity, they take this map.
Again, Anna proving she is a great stall character.
Anna's amazing, man. I feel like something that these teams really need to start looking at is their compositions, because yes, they're running a standard 2-2-2, that's great, but none of these oh, what a beautiful nade, followed by the deflect and then a wonderful Dragon Blade. Really well played here from Divinity. The compositions that they're running don't make a lot of sense. It seems to me like they're not running compositions, they're just running heroes that they're good at, right? And that's not really ideal, because that can generally be countered quite well.
We'll see what happens next game. If they run more or less the same, we can clearly see its favoritism playing a part in the roles they're playing. But it's working against JSG Rebellion, but JSG Rebellion needs to switch off to like something that can either shut down the Genji or shut down the other DPS, with the additional trying to focus more on the supports.
So what kind of a composition could Rebellion run that might help them with that kind of thing?
Goats was perfect, but the thing is the execution of Goats was wrong. If they could maybe switch over to a basic dive, like Reinhardt, why I said Reinhardt, Winston, Diva, or maybe even Hammond with a nice Mercy or Moira, that would go would go very far in the sense of what they're playing against. Because Winston can shut down the Genji plays. Then Diva could maybe dive one of the supports. It's really all up to like what the teams are able to do.
Right. Well, you're not actually wrong on that. I think that could work really, really well for them, and especially if they run like a wrecking thing just to create a little bit of dissension in the back line, create some chaos there, and yeah, that could be a lot of fun to watch as well. But I feel like Divinity have got this a little bit on lock here. Route 66, however, what compositions can we expect to see on Route 66? Because we've seen some interesting stuff in other games recently.
Well, if we go with the current meta, it could be something like a McCree or an Ashe. But definitely we'll see a Zarya. That's definitely something we'll see. And then Moira. If one of the teams are trying more niche pick, they'll go for a Brigitte. She's not bad as a second healer, and her rally ability, her ulti, is very good for long-term sustain.
True. And something else we've seen a lot of recently is that quad DPS from Korean contenders, and of course the Mei Igloo strat where you just stall the cart forever. So we could actually see a lot of fun things. I'm expecting to maybe see some Pharah Ashe potentially. That's been quite popular recently. I know that it's being played a lot in tier 2 scrims at the moment. So that could be a fun one to bring up. How do you think that would fare against Goats?
The Pharah basically counters Goats on her own. If you can get a full Mercy up, like that's GG, because nothing in Goats. Maybe a Diva can counter Pharah, but there's no range in Goats. There's no hit scan. There's almost nothing they can do against the Pharah, and even if a Mercy's there, better.
The only thing to be careful of with a Pharah against goats is, of course, if your Pharah is not hitting those shots. Since that little bit of a nerf came in, not really a nerf, but the nerf in her splash damage. Since that came in, it's a lot harder to build up ult charge if you're not getting direct rockets. And if you're not getting those direct rockets, if you're not killing the supports fast enough, then all you're really doing is feeding support ult charge. And of course, if you're playing against goats, support ultimates are huge. So it's a little bit of a double-edged sword there. But I think if you combine that with an Ashe, then the spam damage can do so much.
Yeah. Also, something that's kind of an unpopular opinion is that Ashe is like Reaper. She's a tank buster. Whether people like to admit it or not, she does so much damage. And then Bob can be acting as like a 7th player. So Ashe is really good at this time in the meta.
Yeah, Ashe, especially in lower tier games, a common problem is that Ashe just gets, or not Ashe, Bob just gets left uncontested. Now, don't get me wrong. If Bob is off to a far corner somewhere because the Ashe maybe messed up her Bob placement, that's fine. You can ignore him. But when Bob is like on your payload, don't ignore him. You've got to kill him. So that's definitely something that I want these teams to be looking out for. If we do see that Ashe, we've got a couple seconds left to wait before we see what kind of compositions are going to come through, and I'd love to hear your opinions on it once they actually show up.
Yeah, just one thing first. I really hope one of them pulls out a pirate ship because that's always amusing to watch.
Pirate ship is dead, Crab.
Nah, dude. Like, thanks to Bastion getting new buffs and things like that. Really not bad.
All right, so what can you tell me about these compositions?
So we're seeing the same thing we saw on the first map on Busan from DDC Divinion. They're running the Winston Zarya combo. Long range heals from Ana. I think it's good, but I don't feel there's enough heals on the Winston when he is going to dive in. But we'll have to see on the execution of that how JST will counter that. JST is going for a really weird pick. I would say it's almost half and half. Like, they have a dive character who can maybe isolate the healers, because both Ana and Zen on DDC Divinion side is pretty squishy and struggles against the Winston.
That's absolutely right. It looks like they're going for a little bit of a bunker comp here, and they're using a Winston instead of an Orisa to contest point, which is interesting. I've never actually seen that strat used before, so I'm curious to see how it's going to work. Now we've got Tracer kind of peeking underneath where the Winston is. Winston is waiting to try and get an early pick off. He dives onto the Genji, but Sully has dived into the backline. He gets so low, but does manage to get away. Unfortunately, target prioritization doesn't seem to be working. Pyro flanking around the back, trying to get some picks, or possibly just running around in circles. Who knows? Sully back up on the high ground, manages to take down the Junkrat. Huge anti-nade comes through onto the rest of JSG. That can be quite lethal, but the rest of Sully's team is not there yet. They're slowly pushing cart. It is a 6v5. There is massive advantage here for Divinity. And as I say that, Dio takes down Phoenix. Oh, but Floki and Pyro are just going for it. Pyro finally managing to get into that backline. These dive DPS are doing a lot of work.
So one thing I saw there was, in the beginning, Winston was there on top, ready to catch a Genji or support or whatever off guard. Really great start, but the thing is, the re-engagement back into his team, where the Tracer was a problem. Winston counters Tracer very well. His Tracer cannot necessarily run away from that, so it was a misplay from their side.
Another issue was Dio getting caught in the back line there and not managing to get back to the rest of his team. They had to wait for him now for his respawns. They can't come forward and contest. It looks like they're not going to be holding too close to the doors. They're going to be holding under bridge, which isn't the worst idea. I would have expected them to maybe take high ground, but Sully has gone in with the nano boost from the Ana. Ana and Winston do manage to get a pick onto the Reinhardt, and Sully just keeps going, man. He takes down Zen Master, Vertigo takes down Lynx, and that's it. Once again, this fight's pretty much over, and they only invested 2 ultimates.
Now, DDC had great plays there. Both combination of the Winston using his Primal Rage and a great anti to make sure that the supports from JSG just couldn't up.
Yeah, what I'm seeing is that JSG aren't peeling very well for their supports. Once that Winston pops into the backline, they're not focusing him down. They're getting a little bit distracted, and Sully is just causing absolute havoc in the backline. And then, of course, you've got Dio diving into Divinity's backline with not much support of his own. But now we have the Dragon Blade coming through, followed by a Tire. The Tire does manage to get Floki mid-Dragon Blade, and that is absolutely huge. Zen Master also took down Vertigo. A lot of picks coming through from JSG here, and it looks like they're relying a lot on Lynxmeister's Tires. Every time they win a fight, it gets started off with a nice pick from Lynx. So, well played there. Good Tire taking out that Genji and protecting the rest of your team.
Oh, well, like, there's clearly a method to the madness from DDC Dominion. Now they've switched off Winston for a Reinhardt. This could get very interesting.
Well, this composition makes a lot more sense, especially with that Zarya. Now there's a lot more play because Winston always being in the backline is quite difficult. But a Graviton Surge will come through. It does get two, but there's no follow-up. They actually allow Zenmaster to use his Transcendence, and that will allow JSG to take the lead after taking down both Floki and Vertigo and Denshin and the Phoenix. Let's go, dude.
Okay, big problem what happened there was Sully had the Reinhardt shifting problem. Instead of clicking left, he clicked shift. So while his whole team was centered around the Graviton, he was off to the left there in the back. Couldn't do much.
Yeah, quite an unfortunate turn of events then. As I said before, Surge went off. There was absolutely no follow-up. There were two people in it. Something definitely should have happened there, and it didn't. What they needed was a Bob. Oh, Lynx with a beautiful early pick onto Phoenix. That will pretty much shut down Divinity's push, unless, of course, they continue to keep going. Pyro is trying to get a pick onto the back line, but it doesn't seem to be happening for him, so he's just going to back out here. Floki managing to take out Lynxmeister. That's pretty big. The Earthshatter comes through, but gets nothing. Chrono with the Coalescence managing to keep his team up. Oh, but the counter shatter is huge. And he does manage to pin the Reinhardt and get him down. The trades have been coming through, but it looks like this is going to be won out by Divinity.
This fight was very messy, like it was all over the place. Like, look at the Deer still being alive there in the back, and DDC Divinity actually doing the smart move by just pushing the card, and Deer doing nothing.
Yep, they're just leaving him there and pretty much staggering him out. In fact, if they can kill him now, that will stop him from getting back to the rest of the team. But unfortunately, they don't seem to be able to. Oh, the sleep comes through, though. They do take him down. Well played, Denshin, you beast. That has now completely staggered JSG, and they have Divinity have a real opportunity here to push forward. They're not going to use it, it seems. They're going to just stick onto this payload. It's the safe bet. I don't see any problem with that. Oh, but a Fire Strike will come through and take down Denshin, and that's pretty huge. Now Divinity really need to play it safe because Denshin was doing a lot for them. Oh, they can just send in Floki with the Dragon Blade. Floki managing to take down the Tire as well as Lynxmeister. Lynx was trying to get a sneaky Tire there to kill the ulting Genji, but it did not work for him. Floki doing a lot of work here for DDC Divinity.
Okay, so now one thing that I've picked up is that earlier they didn't have anything to combo with the Graviton. Maybe Genji's Blade, but that wasn't up at that time. Now they've switched over to a Reaper, so maybe the combination between Graviton and Reapers is great.
Well, now we've got Soldiers in for sight, and doesn't seem to be getting anything. If anything, Yo's doing all the work. Pyro managing to take down the Soldier mid-sights. Not what you want to see there. Pyro absolutely popping off once again. He manages to take down not only the ulting Soldier, but also the Brigitte, and that opens a huge opportunity for the rest of his team to keep fighting. Dio does get the hook onto Pyro, but doesn't manage to finish him off. And Pyro, with the new Reaper healing, he manages to just stay alive. He's also got a Harmony Orb on top of him. He cannot be stopped. The Death Blossom comes through, manages to take out Baby Diva and the opposing Reaper, and Brigitte and Joker. Pyro, what a beast this game.
Well done to DDC Divinion. That was great plays. I have to say here at the end, JSG Rebellion was really on damage control, using all the stall gears they could possibly get, but at the end it just wasn't enough.
Yeah, unfortunately, you know, once Divinity got that roll going, it was pretty difficult for JSG to get anywhere. What did you think of the compositional swap-ups we saw? You know, obviously we saw the Winston swap onto the Rhine, and then we saw Genji that eventually swapped over to Reaper. What do you think the teams were thinking when they made these swap-ups?
I'm not really sure. Like, the Reaper I can kind of understand because it was to get a combination with the Graviton. Maybe. Or, well, we saw JSG Rebellion having a Road Dog, so maybe the Reaper was switched in to take care of that. But at the end of the day, I feel like both teams are playing very messy games in the sense of there's no structure to the combos they are playing.
I agree with you 100%. It seems like the compositions that they're playing are not, there's no synergy in the compositions. Once again, coming back to they're playing heroes that they're comfortable on. They're not really playing well thought out and well devised strategies. Now, what about these compositions that we're seeing coming now that we've swapped sides? What do you think about these?
Okay, so with DDC Divinity now, we can see they're keeping the Reaper. So there's still that combination that they can have with the Graviton. The problem is when Reaper's ulti is at its most vulnerable. So if anything can stun him, which we can now see, it looks like JSG is going to play Brigitte. So if Brigitte can get that stun off while Reaper's ulti, they will get no worth out of it.
All right, and it looks like we're also going to see a pharmacy, and I'm excited to see that as well. Interesting that the Divinity haven't opted for that bunker comp that is quite popular on this point, but as you said, they've got that Reaper. With all of that lifesteal, it's going to do a lot for them. JSG are now just going to sit on the payload and slowly escort it until they absolutely have to engage, which, let's be real, is not the worst idea.
I feel the problem that can arise is that Divinity would not be able to take out the pharmacy because they do not have long-range hit scan. Maybe Anna, but that's about it.
Well, Anna, we've seen Denshin is quite dangerous on that Anna, so do a lot. Vertigo managing to take down Dio on that, or rather to de-mech him, because he dived in way too deep there. Zen Master with the anti-nade in the middle of Divinity. That's not what you want to see. Sully managing to take him down, and yeah, that pretty much stalls their push once again, waiting for those respawns.
I don't know if it's Linksmeister's plan, but he's dodging the Denshin so well that he's getting so much work for his team at this time.
Oh! Dio managing to take down Fluky, and that could be pretty huge. Oh, Denshin, you beast! What did I tell you, man?
Denshin coming in with the clutch.
The raise does come through though onto Linksmeister, but as it happens, Pyro will take down the Mercy. The all-out brawl is happening on cart, but once again, Pyro is just being an absolute beast. Numbers advantage heavily for JSG at the moment, but still managing to contest this payload, which is very interesting. That is huge! He got booped into JSG in the middle of his Death Blossom. Beyblade meta is back, boys.
I feel a problem now that is that both teams are struggling a bit with the ulti charge. Like there's 3 ultis from DDC coming up now. Also maybe 4 ultis from JSG. I didn't see them. Mistake.
Yeah, JSG looking pretty good on the ult economy here. They've got an opportunity to really steamroll through. Divinity, I don't know, they can build up their ults pretty damn quickly. They've also got quite a few online. Denshin already 40% to another nano, but the Earth Shadow will come through. Doesn't get much though. Linksmeister will take down Sully, but the rest of his team is pretty much dead. Really weird rocket barrage.
Didn't get much worth out of it. That's one ulti wasted now from them.
That was absolutely wasted. He tried to solo barrage one person who managed to get away, and then Genji just deflected and built up ridiculous amounts of ult charge there. Floki managing to take down Chronic as well. And Pyro, once again, just absolutely popping off. The DPS duo of Pyro and Floki are doing so much in this game.
But my problem is now I see as a long-term problem maybe for DDC defending is Floki needs to learn the characters as well. Because this whole game he's just been playing Genji.
You have a point there, but I mean, if it's working, as you say, you know, in this new meta, Genji probably isn't the best hero to be putting all of your resources and time into, but the meta might change at any given time. Palya with a big charge there, getting nothing, but Sully managing to charge down Zenmeister. Vertigo takes down Rich, and once again, big Earth Shatter, only managing to get Dio, but it should be enough. Sully gets the shield up, and nobody will die to that self-destruct, and Sully can just charge back to the rest of his team.
A suggestion I could make to JSG, if I could talk to them at this time, was maybe to switch off Lucio for Moira, because the tank's on the ground and the other DPS player is struggling because they're not getting heals, because the Mercy is just popped in the farmer.
But a big Graviton Surge comes through, and this is the kind of follow-up that I wanted to see. And once again, another Genji Blade used for no particular reason. Floki, his Genji Blades have been kind of hit or miss. Some of them have been great, and then we also had a nano boost onto Pyro. And once again, it was so unnecessary. Yes, we're in the last little dregs of the fight, but I don't know. It seems like we're wasting ults here, boys.
Victory. Vic is there at the end with the waste. Well, I wouldn't say it was that much of a waste. With the Genji Blade, he did get Pharah at the end of the time, which could have contested the point. A bit longer to get the team there.
Well, DDC Divinity will take their second map in this series, and here once again Pyro doing stellar work. Even after getting stunned, he still managed to just absolutely pop off. Well played. Now we're going to move into our third map. Still waiting to see what that's going to be, but yeah, this match is looking pretty one-sided at the moment.
Well, we have seen great turnbacks and comebacks, and so maybe JSG Rebellion can really pull it back still. But at this time, it looks, like you said, very one-sided.
So what do you think JSG should be working on in the future to kind of help them improve so that when they come in for their next game, they can do, just a little bit better?
Definitely what they should work on is focusing a target that's giving them major problems. In the last map, it was Pyro. Pyro was just popping off left, right, and center. So if they could have gotten down Pyro first in team fights, that could have gone much more to their side than it did the fights we saw.
Yeah, something that I also noticed was alt combinations have been pretty non-existent, and that's something that's so big in this game. Grav and Genji Blade, or Grav and Bomb, or Earth Shatter and Death Blossom. Just there's been no real alt play here. We saw some nano boosted Beyblade, which was pretty damn cool, but unfortunately, alt combinations are so powerful in this game, they really shouldn't be ignored.
Also, something that JSG can work on, and also DDC Dominion, is that charging your ults and waiting for time to use them, but not just instantly use them as soon as they're up. JSG has shown that, couldn't see much of them because there wasn't that many ults coming from them because they weren't farming their ults. They weren't farming that damage on the enemy team. DDC Divinia now had lots of ults but kept spamming them. So ult economics is something both teams should work on.
Right, and now it looks like we're moving into Hanamura, and this is one of my absolute favorite maps. Corpy, what kind of compositions might we see on this map?
Oh, I really hope one of the teams decides to go a dive, especially as a team on attack. Because dive on this map is great, because you can get onto that point so quick that the other team can't really react. As soon as one thing that can happen is if a dive gets on that point, it completely changes the mechanics from the defending side has to attack the point, and the defenders are now the attacker. The attackers are now the defenders.
Yeah, that's pretty common. Something else we see a lot on this map is the Ashe Farah and the Mei, or even an Ashe Junkrat. A lot of spam compositions to just try and keep that, because obviously there's only one choke. There's no way around onto this point. You have to come through this one itty bitty choke. So it's great for pummeling a lot of spam damage into the doors. But now we are seeing these compositions. What do you think of these compositions?
It's very interesting now that DDC is actually switching it up a bit. They're putting now Loki off of Genji, and now he's on a Hammond. We haven't seen his Hammond performance yet, but if it's anything like his Genji, this game is going to be very one-sided. Both teams running a Mei. I don't know if the Mei on attack is going to get much worth, but we'll have to see. Mei on defense on Hanamura can grant 6 seconds easily on her own, and that last 6 seconds you need is sometimes clutch.
Yeah. What I love about Mei is, of course, she can wall off 1 or 2 players as they come through the choke, and you annihilate them, and then the enemy team is forced to go back and regroup. But of course, that's if you can get that wall off in time. And if the enemy team doesn't have a D.Va, just fly back over and completely debate you.
Setup's coming.
All right. Oh, yes. Well played, the Dio. They're managing to the sneaky strat that they were using. A big anti-nade comes through onto Vertigo, but Pyro will be the first person to go down to Paleo. That's absolutely huge. Paleo chilling out here with a little bit of support. He's trying to 1v1 this Mei, and while that's happening, you've got the rest of JSG on point. Floki does manage to take down the Widowmaker, and that's going to create a lot of space for them. They don't have to worry about sidelines too much. Chronic being bullied by this Mei, but the Mei being bullied in return by Dio's Mei. But it looks like Divinity are managing to take this quite convincingly.
Okay, so that was great play from Dio to block that. Sad thing that what happened is the Reinhardt pushed through. I feel that Rebellion should have taken him out and then focused on the Mei and the Lucio, but that did not happen. They were split up. It just didn't work at the end.
Yeah, the Mei wall from Dio was pretty good, but unfortunately it was pretty much at the same level as Vertigo's Mei wall. Didn't really do too much. It just gave them an extra little bit of ledge to walk on. It would have been great if it had been on top, and it looks like Divinity are going to go for a straight onto point roll through, and JSG are so split up. Poor Denshin was on his own on the left, but still manages to take out the Widow. Let's go. Lynx Tire will come through. Manages to take down 3. That's absolutely huge, but it's not going to be enough because the rest of JSG is pretty much down. Dio and Palo will continue to try to contest this point as much as possible. They do have the spawn advantage, and oh, here comes the Mei ultimate, which is perfect. Floki pile drive straight into it, but manages to dodge all of it. Somehow, Sully has stayed alive through all of this with Denshin backing him up. He got the nano boost, he got anti-naded, but it didn't matter because his team was there to back him up. JSG managing to come back onto point, but it's not going to be enough.
Wow. Okay. So one thing I definitely saw there was the Mei on JSG Rebellion side did make a bit of an oopsie by not using her ice block first and just stalling it out for JSG to get back onto the point. Maybe she used it previous to that, but a few seconds that she could have granted them would have made the difference.
Yeah, the other thing to note here is Link's Master got such a huge tire. It created so much opportunity and space for them, but once they got back onto the point, there was absolutely no target prioritization. They kind of just scattered onto point and tried to hope for the best. Dio did quite well stalling it out. He threw out that Blizzard, managing to freeze the Reinhardt, not managing to freeze the Hammond. The Hammond was just a little bit slippery, but he stalled it out for quite long, and the rest of the team just didn't get back. And when they eventually did get back, there was just chaos. They weren't able to single out a single target. So Divinity managing to take that point quite aggressively and quite convincingly. Tell me about these compositions now that we've swapped sides.
Well, Pyro now on a Widowmaker. We haven't seen him play that yet. I also saw that earlier JSG tried to play the Widowmaker, but they didn't get it worth out of it. And the problem that occurred was they kept staying the Widowmaker and never switching it off. I get it, Widow is very strong on Hanamura, but if you're not getting worth out of it, rather switch it off.
The funniest was seeing Denshin outsnipe that Widowmaker on the right-hand side. Denshin had no fan. He walked out onto the right ledge. The team was so split up, and he was like, whatever, I'll just kill your Widowmaker. We're good to go.
Something that happened there was Denshin and Floki were both actually doing that. Floki probably was jumped off at that time, but they were both keeping fire, keeping the pressure on the Widow.
Right, and JSG are coming in for their first engage. We see Rich on the left here trying to get a little bit of spam damage. He's trying to 1v1 Pyro, and neither of them are getting too much luck out of that, but they're keeping each other busy, which is exactly what you need. The Symmetra turret will get JSG onto point, but a huge anti-nade will come through, managing to take down Zen Master. Lynx does manage to get a pick. Lynx getting quite a few picks here, doing really well, but Floki on this Wrecking Ball will create a lot of havoc and dissension. Despite that, however, they've allowed JS a lot of space here to get onto point. Rich absolutely popping off on this Hanzo, and they take this first point quick sharp.
Wow, that was really good plays from Dio there with the teleport placing, and actually the whole team following up through that portal. This coordination we haven't seen from Rebellion, and this could be the turnaround that they need.
I mean, this could be, you know, reverse sweep incoming. Pyro checking these sightlines down mid, but it looks like JSG are coming on the left. Oh, Rich will take out Pyro. Beautiful initial pick off, and now they have an opportunity to push in, which they're not doing.
With the whole new Symmetra teleporter being able to spam so quickly, it's really changed up how teams can approach on Nomura.
Alright, so this is a bit of a weird one for me. We had the Symmetra turret come straight onto point. The only person to go through was the Reinhardt. The rest of the team just kind of chilled and got taken out. Another huge tire from Lynx, but unfortunately it's not going to be enough to get his team on point. The misplay there, the teleporter was up. Even though the Mei wall went up, the teleporter was there. The team needed to hit W, and they just didn't.
But I also see this is a problem with a lot of teams. It's just they do not have aggression or enough of it. And sometimes teams have too much aggression. So there has to be a fine balance between it. But in this case, JSG Rebellion just did not have enough aggression like that.
Yeah, they're playing very passively, and it's something that I've seen throughout all of the maps. There's really a lack of aggression here. They're struggling to just hit that W key. Now we're seeing, once again, they're running this double main tank, and that's pretty powerful, especially now that they've got the Moira, but will it stand up to Vertigo on this Reaper and Pyro on this Hanzo, which is pretty huge. Oh, and the dive will come through, but an initial pick from Sully will create a lot of space for his team. Dio does manage to get a pick off, but Floki and Phoenix getting even more, and once again, they will keep control of this attack.
One thing Rebellion can do to really improve their attack is just take it slower and start farming ultis again. If they can get like another great tire, it's going to be GG for them to take this round.
For some reason, the supports were trying to contest on point there. Chronic really went in. Managed to get 2 pick-offs, but the rest of your team isn't there. You don't want to be doing that.
Yeah, you never want to be alone, especially if you're support.
Okay. Unlucky tire there from Linksmeister. It wasn't near anything. I think he was trying to get the just out of range. Didn't really do too much damage to it, but now it looks like JSG have managed to come onto point at last. The Coalescence comes through to try and keep the rest of the team up. We do have a nano boost onto the Zenyatta. I don't think that was exactly planned out. JSG, oh, nice Earth Shatter, managing to take down Zen and Pirate, well, rather Vertigo, trying to just continue to contest on point, but will get booped off. Now we see Floki on that Wrecking Ball and the Blade come through, but Reinhardt's shield will protect most of the team from the damage. Linksmeister, however, does go down. A good beat comes through to protect the rest of them, but it doesn't look like it's going to be enough. As I say that, the Transcendence will come through from Divinity to keep the rest of his team alive, and now it's just the cleanup. Really, really well played there from Phoenix. Great Transcendence, keeping the rest of the team alive.
Well, I have to admit I was a bit wrong on ult economy from DDC Divinion. It was saving that Zen ult for a while. I was thinking, like, why aren't they using it going on? But it was clearly a plan, and it worked out in the end.
Yeah, I mean, they clearly haven't needed it thus far. They've been holding quite securely, and exactly when they needed it, it came out, and it worked quite well for them. Denshin now has been knocked off the high ground, and that's not what you want. This is a pretty good opportunity for JSG to push in. Hunter on the right here, going to get soloed by Pyro, but or rather by Vertigo, but Winston and Hanzo are chasing him down. A big Earth Shatter from Sully. He does manage to get 3 and kill Linksmeister in the process, but JSG are getting the picks that they need. Rich does manage to take down Pyro. Paleo will go down to Sully's Reinhardt, and it looks pretty evenly matched at the moment, but now we've got some Wrecking Ball mines on the point, managing to take down both supports. Oh, that's not what you want. You hate to see it. And once again, Dio left alone in the back line. He's going to get stalled out, and JSG are going to have to try and regroup.
One thing I saw there from JSG's side was the engagement was great. They got the picks they needed. They got on point. But after that, the focus that they had between the people on point wasn't well enough to take out the remainder of DDC Divinity.
You're right. JSG, they're splitting up quite heavily. Pyro managing to take down Hanzo that was on his own in the middle of nowhere. That's not where you want to be. Dio does take down Pyro, but of course they have the spawn advantage at the moment, so it's not the end of the world. Coalescence will come through from Denshin again, trying to keep his team up, trying to do some damage. We've got a DPS Moira here, boys. Linksmeister Tire will come through. Will it get anything? Nobody knows. Oh, he died. Unlucky. The Tire will get absolutely nothing, and once again, oh, big Earth Shatter coming through from Sully here. Doesn't manage to get anybody, but they have pushed them back. Paleo with the return Earth Shatter, but doesn't get any value because of the block. Pyro will get Zen with the Deadeye. Really weird Dragon Strike there from Rich. I'm not sure what he was thinking there.
I think what Rich was thinking there was he saw most of the DDC Divinity, sorry, not Dominion, outside, and he thought he was going to get a pick or two. That could have helped, could have not. I don't know, it might have been a mistake because none of his team was.
And this again comes back to what I was saying earlier about ult combinations. They have literally nothing one another. You can possibly combo with an Earth Shatter, but an Earth Shatter is so easy to block, and we've seen that so many times that it's really not reliable, and those combos are so good for those team kills. Nice beat for an engagement. They've got a little bit of extra shielding. Vertigo still going in there, getting that damage. Oh, managing to take down Zen Master and Chronic. That's 2 supports down. He will go down to Linksmeister, but it doesn't matter because they have a really strong hold here. Widowmaker dies to Denshin and Pyro, doing so much damage there. Pyro just absolutely popping off here, and once again, Dio left alone.
One thing I see again is just the Widowmaker. It's still not getting them any profit or any like extra picks. I don't understand why they are still trying to use it. Maybe it's a favorite pick of Rich. Like maybe it comes down to favoritism on the Euro picks again.
Yeah, that's a real issue when you're seeing teams playing heroes that don't work. You guys, you got to realize sooner when a pick is not working. I actually haven't really seen Rich get too many picks. I think I saw him get maybe 1 or 2. It's really not working. He gets taken down by the Moira. Paleo will take down Vertigo, which is pretty huge. We've got a Coalescence coming through once again from Chronic and trying to keep the team up, but the team is not engaging. Now's the time. Get onto point. Zen Master goes down because he was frontlining on point with absolutely no support. Both tanks are still alive. The Earthshot will come through from Sully, but it doesn't get anything. Wrecking Ball will drop his bombs, and that'll do a lot of damage. Paleo with the Earthshot, it doesn't really get anything either. Another beat comes through, this time from Phoenix, keeping his team alive, and Divinity will take third back.
Linksmeister just couldn't secure enough damage with the tire. It actually got no worth at the end there. That could have been the make or break to see if they could go on to the next round.
Yep, I think the common issues that we've seen here have really been hero selection, like counter picking. You gotta remember, guys, Overwatch, this game is all about counterplay. And if you're not going to be making the right swap offs, you're not going to succeed. And of course, the other thing being alt economy. That's something that I cannot drive home enough. You've really got to be thinking about your compositions. Corpy, what did you think of this game overall?
Well, this last round on defense for DDC Divinion was actually pretty well. JSG did prove that they do have enough skill to actually win, but just certain things were lacking. Like I said, the engagements are good, but the follow-up and the focus after that is just non-existent. It's really something they can work on as a team. DDC Divinity has also one problem I saw in the end there. I was not sure that not sure with the Moira pick. I know Dacian did very well. He got lots of crucial picks, but at the end of the day, I feel like the Anna would still have been a better choice there.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think that kind of wraps it up from Corpy and I for this evening. Thank you, everybody, for watching. This has been VSGaming Leg1 2019. We've got a lot more games for you coming up this week. Please come check out Kaus's Twitter at C_O_W_S_A. Geez, words are hard. Come check us out on Twitter. All of our matches get posted there. You can also find us on VSGaming, VSGaming's Twitter. I think it's at VSGaming. They do retweet all of our going live tweets. So please, guys, come have a look. Don't be a stranger. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for Paragon for being our producer. We really do appreciate that. And we'll see you guys in the next game.
Thanks.